It might seem like it's gone a bit quiet in the Delphi case the last few weeks, months, but it's not. There's a lot happening. A lot happening in the last few days involving Rick, Kegan and Tony. Richard's trial has been kicked down the road. It's highly unlikely we will see anything, in my opinion, in this year, 2023. I just can't see how the defence can be ready, and with the investigation still ongoing, I'm not convinced the prosecution is ready either. I doubt we'll see a trial for a while. And I do kind of hope so anyway, because they are still investigating, and I'm pretty sure that the prosecution cannot go into this trial without addressing the fact that they have said that they believe there are other people, or could be other people involved. Other bad actors, they told us. Like, that has to be addressed at some stage, whether it be in a court document or something before the trial. A couple of weeks back, about 3 or 4 weeks back, Richard and his attorneys have got the discovery. And they were all out for a speedy trial, but after seeing the discovery, they asked for more time because they didn't have enough time to go through it, which I think the prosecution was also probably happy with. They were happy to delay things. But Richard and his attorneys, they should, in theory anyway, have all the evidence that has been discovered so far. Discovery docs were handed over, and it was then after that the motion was filed for, I think it's to delay the bond hearing, because Alan's attorneys said they need more time because there's so many documents, so much evidence turned over that they need time to go through it. So when that happened, when they got the discovery, Richard now knows, he has a fair idea what they have in him and if they have him or not. I would love to see him, and I'd love to get a read on his heart rate when he was reading those docs, when he first learned of what was in the discovery. The prosecution was also very careful here. They filed motions around the discovery docs. They don't want anything getting out or leaked, obviously, but they kind of took the extra step of filing a motion for a court order requesting that basically all the discovery material should not be displayed, shown, sent to anyone, used for research or educational, or used in any other manner except for court proceedings. They asked for the court to limit the viewing and photocopying of the evidence so that it's only Alan and his attorneys or expert witnesses or investigators that can view this document. It's not to be shown to any person who is not supposed to view it, including witnesses, Richard Allen's family members, relatives, friends, anyone. And they're clearly very worried about the info coming out from this document. And I tend to believe it's because it's due to the other bad actors that they referred to previously. And obviously because that might also impact the active ongoing investigation into other people or anyone else that might be involved in this in any way. I just pray they have something really good in there, because in my opinion the probable cause affidavit is very, very weak. The judge that signed the initial search warrant, the initial Richard Allen's arrest warrant, he later recused himself and seemed a bit dramatic, and I think he might be a soft touch. The ballistics, the magic bullet that has been cycled through the gun, the prosecution is completely overstating the science that's behind that in the probable cause affidavit. That's weak. That's going to be torn down, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. Like, some people see this as like a DNA evidence. It's not going to stand up. If this is the best evidence they have, we're in deep trouble if we think we're getting justice for Abby and Libby. And it's the same with the eyewitnesses in this case. A lot of them were very, very young at the time. That stuff doesn't tend to stand up in court and under cross-examination. It's not good. There's a lot of contradictions in there that a defence team will have a pretty easy time in tearing down and casting doubt on it. And after the initial kind of excitement of today is the day and Alan's arrest, like, when the dust settles and you're reading that probable cause, if that's all they have, I cannot see a conviction in this case. But is it all that they have? You have to believe there's a lot more. Did they just put in the probable cause, the bare minimum, just what they needed to get a search warrant, just the bare minimum of what they needed to get an arrest, so that they didn't have to show their full hand? Like, a little thing that gives me some pause around that is the mistakes that were in some of these documents, spelling mistakes, years wrong. It just looks like poor work, but I hope I'm wrong. I'm kind of running with heart over head, to be honest, because I have more faith in the cops and the investigators than I probably should have, given their track record on this case and the many, many mistakes that were made. And I do worry about some of the politics at play in Carroll County. So who are these other bad actors that are involved? Is Kegan one of them? Is it really a total coincidence that all the Kegan stuff and Alan's arrest happened at the same time? I think not. However, we have nothing other than timing. There is nothing in public at all about this yet to say that, yeah, there's a connection there. But the pressure is coming on. The pressure is coming on a lot of people. Does Richard want to talk? Does he have something to say now that he has seen the discovery? He's been stewing on that now for a few weeks. And I think or hope that there is something in there, hopefully a lot, that has old Rick a bit nervous. If he is truly nailed on for this and he knows it, is there anything he can do and say about other people involved that might get him off that row? Is that something the prosecution even wants? I'm not sure. Because if there's nothing at all, then I don't think they would have asked for a delay. I'd love to see Rick's face when he read that document. It wouldn't have been done in person in an interview type situation. I don't think so anyway. But I wish they could see him. I wish they could see his reaction when he was reading the discovery, when he finally found out everything that they have. But back to Kegan. Kegan, aside from the Delphi stuff, he has his trial for all his CP coming up soon. He has 30 counts of CP, child exploitation, obstruction of justice, identity theft. That's coming up on May the 10th. And I think 2 days ago now, the state handed over a list of their witnesses. The witnesses that they are going to call for Kegan's trial in May, the trial not related to Delphi. But it's very interesting and there's a lot of connections there. This list isn't the final list. People can be added and people can be dropped off it. I'll put a screenshot up here of the document and I'll also link the PDF down below if you want to have a look. But when you have a look at the witnesses, things are getting very real for Kegan and his time is running out. He is such a liar. You just don't know what to believe. And it's like all his words now are kind of meaningless because he has lied so much. And they're going to make a show of him. That's going to be a really, really embarrassing trial for Kegan. If this goes ahead, it'll be very easy for them to show and make and prove that Kegan is a dirty line pedo. So who's on the list? Who is on the prosecution's list of witnesses? There's lots of cops, lots from the Delphi case against Richard Allen. There is the FBI agent who did Ron Logan's search warrant. There's the ones who interviewed Kegan initially, Vito and Clinton. And they were also thanked by Doug Carter at the press conference for Richard Allen's arrest. So we're seeing connections straight away. Barbara McDonald, the reporter, is on the list. Probably because she is the one that did the interview with Kegan. That it didn't get reported, but it got leaked. That was the interview where Kegan said that he created a profile. And also the interview where Kegan starts to kind of turn on Tony or ramps it up. He starts talking more freely compared to his first ever interview where he wouldn't even talk about his dad. In this one, he was like, yeah, he could have been using that phone. Vincent, who is now a cop in Alaska, he's on the list. This is the person whose photographs Kegan stole for the Anthony Shots profile. He's been called as a witness, probably around, obviously, the identity theft. And there's also two of Kegan's friends, one of which he lived with when he was in Vegas, or when he said he was in Vegas. And I'm kind of assuming these witnesses are being called because Kegan's excuse for a lot of this stuff is, oh, somebody else might have used my phone. I was staying with a friend in Vegas who might have known my password, or my other friend, or my dad. That's his excuse for some of this, which they're coming after. And it's going to be very easy to prove that. One of his friends, or former friends, I think is probably there for two things. Derek Hayes. One, for the phone. The fact that he didn't touch the phone, and also the length of time that Kegan said he was in Vegas. This is going to be embarrassing for Kegan. And another name on the list is Tony Kline. Tony's legal name is Jerry A. Kline, A for Anthony, by the way. So Tony is on the prosecution's list of witnesses. Why? Well, probably, like I said, because in that Barbara McDonald interview, Kegan says his dad could have used his phone. Apparently, Tony is not at all happy with Kegan over some of the stuff he has said and some of the stuff he has said about him. But I didn't think he was going to be testifying against him. Like, how did Kegan feel when he seen this list a few days ago? Not good, I say. Was he expecting his dad to be on it? I don't think so. So it's going to be a very interesting few weeks for Kegan Kline, Richard Allen and Tony Kline. I have lots of questions. I would love to know what was on that discovery document that Richard has now seen, that Richard has access to. How does he feel about it? Is there anything just damning in there? Any connection to other people? And does Rick want to chat about it? If there is a connection to other people there, what's his excuse? Questions around Kegan. How does he feel about that list of witnesses? I bet he shit himself. Like that trial is going to be a train wreck for him. It's now or never. How does he feel about seeing his dad on that list? And with regards to Tony, like, we know Tony has said to people he's not happy with things Kegan has said, and that Kegan is lying. So is he a willing participant for the prosecution? Is he like, yeah, I want to talk, I want to clear a few things up? Or, we don't know this, we can't tell from the list, he could be just subpoenaed for the prosecution because they might want to show that nope, no one else was using the phone, and put these questions to Tony on the stand. It kind of seems obvious now, and I guess this was always coming with this trial on Kegan, but what a great opportunity to put Tony up on the stand and ask him a few questions. It's going to be very interesting. I am very intrigued by Tony going up on the stand and what he has to say and the scope of the kind of questions, but don't forget, Tony could just go up there and plead the fifth. I don't believe that's going to be the case. Indications are that Tony is extremely unhappy with Kegan and the stuff that he has said. So I can't see him going up there pleading the fifth, but I wouldn't be shocked either if that does happen, because it could be a slippery old slope there for old Tony. It's going to be very interesting, no doubt. Let me know what you think. Good luck, God bless, I hope everyone has a nice day.